All right, guys, Shoddy T here with the voiceover edition of the arena. So, just a reminder, make sure that you're liking your diamonds every day in both arenas, whether they're active or not. That's 180 free diamonds a day. So, what we're trying to do, we are trying to finish in the top 70. This particular grouping of the 3 versus 3 arena was a little bit easier on the difficulty. So early on, I said, okay, I got a fair chance to actually get my second ever apocalypse cannon. So I do have one in inventory, but I was waiting until I got a second one before I used the other one. But I think I might just collect them now because I want to use them in certain situations when it's necessary. Like if we have like a server war going on, or if we have a like something that's just going on in the season, because it's not really productive to use it right now. It looks cool, but it only lasts 3 days, and once it's gone, it's gone. So I have plenty of those arrow thrill things that you get from the versus. Um, I do that. I got like 7 or 8 of those, so you can have multiple versions of a skin. So I'm gonna hold on to that apocalypse cannon and just use it for later on, because apparently if I use one, it I do get the in stock bonus when I use it, but then when it expires, even though I got another one in my inventory, I don't get credit for that in stock bonus unless I use that, and then I have it for 3 days and it's gone. So I'm just gonna save it for a rainy day, but it's still nice to have. And of course, you want to do the arena anyway. So what we're doing here is we're trying to optimize our best matchup. The first objective, of course, is to get your 5 wins, because if you do your 5 wins daily, you get your maximum individual rewards regardless. Well, you have to win. So on the other arena, the storm arena, win or lose, as long as you do 5, you get your max rewards. But with this arena, since you get 30 attempts, it's a good time to experiment certain matchups, especially if you have the gorilla, or experiment lineups, because I talked about the tank and the aircraft and the different setups. So it's a good idea to kind of test this out in the 3 versus 3 arena, because you only get 10 tries in the storm arena. So it's a good opportunity to do that. And plus, if you try to maximize your attempts, you get more points when you win, and that gives you more cushion on the back end when you get to today, because I think me having a lot of points really helped me out. But I'm gonna let you guys see how this went. As you can see, I got some tough matchups here. I'm trying to stay in the top 70. Top 40 is a pipe dream. I think there's another tier of rewards, but I think I still get a 3-day apocalypse cannon. So in order for me to get an apocalypse cannon that lasts more than 3 days, I have to finish in the top 20. And that's just never gonna happen unless we get super lucky in our 3 versus 3 grouping. But I don't even think I'm top 20 in our own server for me to even get that top 20 prize, let alone 3 other servers. So I'll just be content to try to get as high as I can get. But as you can see, we have quite a bit of points in our rating. So we're still getting doable matchups here. And there's the example that I showed you guys. And I'm gonna talk. I don't think these matchups are gonna go long enough for me to actually analyze this during the voiceover, because I only got 8 minutes left. So I'm trying to just get my wins in. Let's see. So this matchup, I think I do move the gorilla around and use that middle matchup for the matchup advantage. So the key is to just win 2 out of 3. So I got 1594. So as you can see, I got a pretty good cushion between that and number 41. So I'm pretty solidified up here. Now this one is a tough one. I think I lose this one if I recall, because it's no way for me to win. I'm thinking about this. Like I'm gonna take the gorilla off my last squad and put it here, but I think the deficit is just too big to overcome. Yeah, 7 million class disadvantage. Yeah, so I felt good about that last matchup, but they were just too powerful, those first 2 squads. So we're losing, but again, Looks like this matchup I have a chance to win because there are mostly tanks in this lineup. So I'm going to use my aircraft squad. He does lose some attack, having 4 in one class type and 1 of the other. I think there's a 15% attack boost versus a 20% attack boost if we have all of the one squad. So that was the difference between me winning that matchup, and it wasn't even close. So I did analyze this. So I'm going to show you guys DBA in action on the front row, so that we can kind of see. Now she does get targeted by another DBA person, but she's still holding on. And so it's not that easy to get her down, especially once Lucius unveils his shield. But at the same time, the rest of the team doing their job against the other person. So despite me having a 5 million advantage, I still had just about everyone still alive. So that goes to show you the attack synergy bonus and everything. So I think I end up showing another post matchup battle because right now I'm just buying time at this point because it's 6 minutes left. I feel pretty good about finishing the top 70. So at this point, I'm just monitoring the standings to make sure nobody passes me, and I have enough attempts to move back up if necessary. So I said, why not try to show some post battle matchups? So this right here should be another victory here. Just use the class advantage on both the second and the third. So win that pretty easily. So it's pretty hard to crack the top 40, but we're going to show another matchup here. And this is another example of having an attacker on the front row. So this time I have Swift, and I will go into more detail about this setup when I talk about the missile class. But you pretty much see my missile lineup in action. This is my regular missile lineup. And as you can see, Swift has got more remaining health than McGregor does. And I was able to win an even matchup on paper, power-wise, but the class advantage made it to where I won that pretty easily. So we're still going. We're just trying to see if there's anything else. Yeah, so we got 5 minutes left. So let's just keep going. At this point, it's not really necessary to keep going unless you're just doing it for content. So that's basically what I'm doing at this point, just for content purposes. So let's see. And I think we're just stalling here. But we are analyzing the matchup because this is a tricky one. I think the first squad, I would need to put the gorilla on it and put it against their middle squad. And I don't think I do it that way. So I think I did it. Yeah, I don't know. Well, there's arguments both ways. So I'm still figuring out what I'm doing here. I think that's what I end up doing because even though they have 2 missiles in that middle lineup, it takes away from their attack synergy. And remember, if you have 3 classes of one type and 2 of the other, you only get a 10% attack boost. So sometimes if you try to get too cute setting up your defense in the arena, even though you might have a class advantage for 2 of the people, you still might be weaker overall. Where that's not enough to overcome the matchup. So the rule of thumb is probably just have all squads of one type, unless you just have a lot of good weapons across the board. Because sometimes if you have good weapons, it doesn't matter. All right, so this one, I don't think I have a chance, but I think I try to pray. I think here the best way to win is to put the gorilla on the aircraft and put that against their first squad, which is tank. So, and use that class advantage to maybe pull the upset, and then just hope that my third squad against their missiles outpower them. But right now I'm just stalling. All right. So we're just stalling right now. I honestly don't know what I was doing at this point. I think I know what I was doing. The reason why I'm doing this voiceover to begin with is because there was a TV show that I was watching. So I think that's what I was doing. I was just catching glance of that TV show, and I think it was like a dramatic moment. So I was like, had my eyes glued on the TV. But here are your rewards here for the 3 versus 3 squad, and I think we go back in the action. It's kind of hard to do these voiceovers when you don't 100% know, remember what you actually did less than 24 hours ago. All right, because this is Monday right now that I'm actually doing this voiceover, so this video should go out pretty shortly once this editing is completed. So we got 2 minutes left, so we're super stalling at this moment. Like, I don't even know if I end up doing that last matchup. I think I'm just holding on just to hope that I end up finishing in the top 70. So right now we're number 42. Yeah. I don't think I ever actually attempt that matchup, but if I did, I think that would have been what I end up doing. So we're still stalling here. All right. And I think I'm going to stop the voiceover here and just let the time run out, and then we'll continue from here. Yeah, so I was definitely stalling, but these are the rewards I was talking about. So top 40 doesn't do anything. I have to get top 20 to get that 7-day apocalypse cannon. So, so right now we're just going in and out just to make sure the standings don't dramatically change. And I'm pretty solid in the top 50. So it looks like I am going to get that second ever apocalypse cannon, and I was just kind of doing that to show the point differential between that and 70th place. So it was pretty much impossible. So now that the new round of arena has started, we collect those coins again. And actually, this video reminds myself I got to do my storm arena today before today is over. But the Doomsday ranking rewards went in. I went all out there. And now we have a new versus opponent. This is an opportunity to show you guys, if you farm when you max farm, you get 1,000,000 points off the rip. Now, of course, some of this is based off your alliance versus mastery, but if you do it, you get at least 750,000 to 1,000,000 points just by farming. Get yourself a head start. Keep in mind, if everybody does that in your alliance, that's 100 million points, or at least 60 million, 60 to 100 million points head start against your opponent. That can be the difference between winning and losing in day one. So right now we're just, I think we're just waiting for the rewards to show up. I think that's what I'm doing now. So what we're doing here is just doing some of the typical day one stuff. Probably not going to do a day one walkthrough because it's pretty straightforward. You just get a little bit of taste of what I'm doing. So I think what I'm doing now is hunting my first blood for today, and I believe we end up going after a 240 because we had some powerful alliance members online. So, and just do that rally. Yeah, so I was trying to look for a 230, but I couldn't find one, so I ended up settling for the 240. And we also have alliance exercise right around the corner, so I was trying to get this in before we started that exercise, but I think I ended up settling on that 240 that I originally saw. It wasn't that far from our home base, but we're still looking for that 230. I think I saw a 210, but then I said, man, I'm running out of time, because once this exercise starts and once it's done, I'm going to bed. So I don't want to try to stay up after exercise to try to hunt a doom walker. So I think at this point I just wave the white flag and just say, hey, let's just go for the 240. But we're still looking, just in case a 230 just miraculously pop up. But we're just surrounded by nothing but 240. So I tried to see who's online. I said, okay, I see Jace is online. I see Rob is online. I was trying to see if DPB was online, but he wasn't. But I saw Jace was on there. I saw Rob was on there. I saw Bare Metal was on there. I said, hey, we should have enough to do a 240. So why not go for this 240? So, yeah, so that's exactly what I did. And here I do a 5-minute rally to make sure I control who comes in and out that rally, because sometimes you'll just have random people join a rally because they see a rally. So you have to sometimes manually remove people. So here we go. We do our reward fever to add the extra boost. Now I'm just checking to see who joined the rally. Nope, no 25 millions allowed. Sorry, no offense. Again, nope. You can't join this rally. Seats reserved. So, okay, let's see who's on. Okay, 41 million. That's acceptable. Okay. Yeah, so this is kind of some of the insight of what you have to do sometimes. Sometimes you just have people just join the rally without seeing what you're going against. So now we got a 45 million. There's Rob. I don't think Jace ends up coming in here, but I think just the three of us alone is good enough. So long as we get like some solid 30s, that should be good to round out the rally. So I think we do that because right now I'm just killing time for those arena rewards to come in. So I'm just saying, let's just get this rally out of the way. So this goes back to what I was talking about. Make sure you do your first bloods. Do the highest that you can challenge yourself. Sometimes it's a convenience thing. If I don't see a 240, most of the time I'm doing a 220 or a 230, and it depends on who's online too. So there's Space Ranger, and we got one more to go. Now you see why I did 5 minutes instead of 1 minute, because I'm trying to make sure that you get the right people to join this rally. Sometimes it takes more than just 1 minute. So Danger Kitty, you made the cut. So waiting for Mr. Chai to arrive, and then we will see how we tackle this 240. Because I think it's the first time that I attempted a 240 without DPB being in a rally, because he's the strongest guy on our team. He has like 54 million power. So, all right. So let's see how we do against this 240. Okay, we did well, and I think we checked the battle reports just to analyze. Always good to check your scorecard. So, yep, we barely escaped that one. So here are the rewards. There it is, guys. So it's Apocalypse Cannon number 2, but I think that pretty much ends it there. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll talk to you later.